February 24th, 2025, Almont School Board of Education meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Burrow, will you do roll call, please? Here.
Mr. Wade. Mr. Burrow. Here. Mr. Terrius.
Here.
Mr. Burns. Here. Ms. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Ecker. 6-0.
Mrs. Von Heltmeyer, any adoption for the agenda of addition?
No, we do not.
A deletion?
No. Next up, communications with student council.
Hello. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Right. It's been a very short month, so we haven't really accomplished much. But as far as snow coming went, our casino theme went very well. Our decorations and everything went very nicely, and we had a pretty good turnout at the dance itself. In student council, right now we are working on getting all of the like t-shirts and the theme for prom, getting that going so we can get everything done on time by May 10th. That Saturday that prom's going to be. We have decided on a theme. There's not a specific name for it, but we're going along the lines of a rustic greenery theme for prom. And we'll work more on that as the weeks continue. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our rate of recognition, our STEAM update with Mr. Bruno from Orchard Primary. A familiar face.
Yeah, you guys are going to get tired of seeing me soon. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do a little bit of a mid-year STEAM update on all the cool things that are going on at OP. So just a quick flashback to the summer. In July, I was here in this exact same spot, although it was a little bit warmer outside, talking about our plan for STEAM for this 24-25 school year, outlining where we're headed, some of the cool stuff we've already done. And today is our opportunity to kind of see what we've done, all the cool things we've been able to do, and really just celebrate all of our amazing teachers and kiddos and community members who have made this a possibility over the last, 6-7 months now since we spoke in July. I know we've got some new folks on our school board, so I wanted to just give a quick overview of what STEAM is in case it's not something you're super familiar with. There's a short article sort of overview that we used in our own professional development back in August to talk about what STEAM is, but in short, it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Those are the 5 overarching topics, but really important to note is that these aren't just each of those topics in isolation. It's how are we working these things together? How are we doing this with an inquiry-driven process? If you click on that link, and I won't go through that all right now because I know we have many things to talk about on this meeting tonight, but it will walk you through what that STEAM inquiry process is, what that process looks like, of things like you find a problem, you find a big idea, you dive into it, you work collaboratively with a group, and then you try to find a really cool solution to that problem using those different elements. Again, looking at science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So a really cool way to get kids thinking cross-curricularly in a way for kids to work together and look at problems in a real-world setting. And that's really what makes it so valuable. Again, real life does not happen in isolation. I think everybody up there, professionals doing different things in their lives. I don't think any of us have ever sat down and be like, I'm gonna do some social studies at work today. Unless you're a social studies teacher, you probably think, okay, I've got some arts that I need to integrate with math and different subjects of all these different things that are gonna work together to help me solve a problem. Again, that problem solving mindset being such an important part of this. We live in a 21st century world. STEAM is all about 21st century education, about opportunities to look at big picture problems and find really creative, cool solutions to that. And we'll highlight some of those, how our kids have done it. And again, that peer-to-peer collaboration, those soft skills that are just so important to life success. Working together, all of us work together in teams and partnerships. So giving our kids these opportunities to solve sometimes really challenging problems, but doing so in a partnership just helps grow them and prepare them for middle school, high school, and most importantly, life beyond the 4 walls that is our schools here. So again, to take you back to July, I talked about 3 really key things. We're going to talk about STEAM in the classroom, STEAM during that art tech special that students have twice a week with Ms. Tensha, and then our Watchdog supporting STEAM. If you've been a Watchdog, and I know some of our dads up here have already been this year, you got to participate in the STEAM in the library, and I almost included a picture of Mr. Eckert in there, but I decided to, I'll send it to him separately though. You did a great job, appreciate it. And Mr. Burns, you as well. Mr. Burrow, I know you're still coming later this year. So this is our chance to show you how it did, how we paid off. As far as STEAM opportunities in the classroom, we've been getting those twice a month. In those shorter months when it's, November, December, when we've got those long breaks in there, it might only be once a month, but generally twice a month we've been getting STEAM opportunities in our classroom. So just to highlight a few of them, I could stand up here and talk for the entire night about some of these things, but again, we want to get everybody on their evening. So first grade does this really cool Box City project where they combine the art and math skills to create a city. I think a couple of you guys have first graders up here, if you remember your kids coming home to create these boxes with their different businesses or homes. So that's math right there. That's math and engineering, designing what is my city going to look like, and being like George Costanza, being a city planner here to really put together my community. And then of course the artistic skill of creating this in collaboration with my peers to create a really cool city. It was really fun to walk around that day and go to the 5 different first grade classrooms and just see the amazing, really cool cities that they had built. So thank you to the parents of first graders too, who helped them with that. Second grade, a more recent example, they created these really cool projects. And apologies for the pictures. My Google Slides was making the pictures look a little bit funky. But if you can see there, they created these geometric art projects using, of course, math, using those geometric shapes they had learned about, triangles, rhombuses, polygons. As you can see on the bottom there, that one young lady there, she's got those purple and pink shapes on there. So that combination of art and math, again, looking at that problem, something as simple as how can I use my math skills to create something really cool to give my parents or my family members an awesome art project and awesome Valentine's Day present. So again, just looking at those problems and working together to create something really cool. Third grade, again, if you've had a third grader come through, they do their Apple Days every year, kind of in conjunction with all the awesome fall stuff that goes on at OP. One of the activities they had this year was they had to create the tallest tower possible that would still hold an apple. So you can see that Granny Smith apple, I believe, there, sitting on top of a Jenga tower there, seeing how tall they were able to build that. But again, it's a pretty big project to think about as a third grader, to think, how can I engineer something that's going to stand up, that's going to hold up an apple and not roll off, not fall off. And then again, doing that in collaboration with a peer, because it's one thing for me to sit down and think, I'm going to build it like this, but a whole nother thing to sit there with 3 or 4 of my classmates and how can we combine ideas and compromise and figure out the best way that we can solve these problems together. And then lastly, our MOSI kids, they've done so many cool projects in there around STEAM, but it's one of our little guys after they did a salt painting. So again, using that like scientific reaction of salt and then making some really cool artwork. And of course, any chance to highlight my buddy Ashton there is always something we're going to do, because you're not going to find many cooler kids than him. But you've seen a lot of great opportunities if you've been in our building this year of kids having these STEAM learning opportunities in their classrooms. And huge shout out to our teachers for making this part of the work that they're doing. If you've ever been in an elementary classroom, there's many things that go on that day. Well, any classroom, not just elementary school, but a lot of things going on. And so integrating these really cool STEAM learning opportunities, again, giving our kids one more awesome learning experience. And if you think about your own experience in elementary school, these are the things you probably remember, right? Doing these fun projects, and these are the memorable things. And it's also a great way for them to learn about science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math along the way. If you don't know Ms. Tensha, I would recommend you get to know her. She's a phenomenal teacher and does amazing things in her art tech class. One of the really cool things we did earlier this year, the third graders spent really the first quarter of the school year designing and then creating these amazing mini golf courses, combining almost all the elements of STEAM right there. It started with, they had a budget and they had to purchase from Ms. Tensha's store in her classroom the supplies that they were going to use to make their golf holes, then use their engineering skills to design them and use their math to make sure it was going to work. And then of course the artistic skills, because they all had to pick a theme. So I think there's a space theme right there. We had like a Christmas theme. We had all kinds of really cool themes there. And if you want to add like an extra S, we had the sports theme to it at the end of STEAMs for students to create and play those golf holes. It was a really fun, cool project that they got to share and show off, and something cool for our younger kids to see them do and look up to, like, oh man, when I'm a third grader, I'm gonna get to do a really cool project like that. But don't worry, our other friends, kindergarten through second, also had great opportunities to do STEAM activities in art tech. Ms. Tensha is really intentional about building in cool activities. For example, around Valentine's Day and really most of our holidays, they'll do some different stations around STEAM, just doing some problem solving. Like you can see our kiddos, those are some kindergartners down in that bottom picture, working on solving some problems together and doing some science and technology problems together. She really does a great job of making it fun and artsy, but also giving them these really cool opportunities to dive into some tech stuff that they might not ordinarily get at a lot of other places in schools around here. Again, thinking about that Almont advantage, this is one of those things that we have to really sell. And then, of course, I mentioned our watchdogs at the start, and that was my last Raider recognition back in the fall. I, again, can't speak highly enough of this program, and kudos to the dads in this program who have come along this journey of integrating STEAM into this, into their day with us. So the way we've set it up is they'll pull groups of 4 to 6, usually, average of 5 students for about 20 minutes a day to do a STEAM activity, which gives each of our students roughly once a month an opportunity to do a STEAM activity in the library. They go down there, Mrs. McConnell's in there shelving books and doing all the amazing library things that she does. But they get to do a really cool STEAM activity here. You can see one of our dads working with some second graders. They are, it's a Lego STEAM thing, so it gives them a problem to solve. So, for example, build a bridge or build a catapult, and they get to pick that opportunity. And I've heard from some of the dads there, they're like, man, it's just a really cool thing to watch these kids come together, solve a problem, and come up with something really cool that I really didn't expect them to be able to do. So a really cool opportunity. And again, part of what makes our schools great is having this community involvement and parents being part of that. And just to put a plug into, if you haven't read the article the Tri-City Times wrote back in October or November about our Watchdogs program, I linked it in there. Dave Frederick over there did a really nice job. He came out and got to see our program in action. Again, just highlighting what a great school district that we have here. And just really to sum up the successes of this program, giving our kids these STEAM opportunities, giving them the opportunity to learn in different collaborative ways, seeing STEAM in different elements, not just art tech, not just in their classroom, but with the watchdog with our dads, and just setting this foundation of community involvement. And we've also had some events where we've had elements of STEAM be a part of it. We had our Spooktacular night back in the fall where we used the orchard. We had a trick-or-treating night out there. But we also in the orchard had Mrs. Landishire, our young 5 teacher, made these amazing little animal displays. And we had high schoolers come out and volunteer to share animal facts about those animals. They were all like Halloween themed, so like bats and possums and all those creepy animals like that. But then we also had some great high schoolers inside doing some science experiments too. So that community element, we really couldn't do it without that. Mrs. Cobb and the Raider reps are also putting on a really great science fair coming up in a few weeks or a few months. April, right? Which is going to incorporate some of the elements of STEAM into there as well. So that problem-solving science portion of things. So we're just excited to kind of lay that foundation of some cool things with STEAM for this school year. And at the end of the day, what's most important is we're giving our kids really cool learning opportunities to become the best Rattrators they can be. And so that's our STEAM program. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to share more about it tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll open it up to our first questions and comments from the audience. This is for anything that's pertaining to the agenda. If you would like to be recognized, please come up to the podium and you'll have 3 minutes. Would anybody like to be recognized at this time? Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? None at this time. Consent agenda.
Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burrow.
I move the Board of Education approve the consent agenda. A, approval of minutes from January 27th, 2025 regular meeting. B, approval of the minutes from the February 19th, 2025 work session.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Brett.
I move that the Board of Education approve the bills payable and the financial reports as proposed by administration and reviewed by the Finance Committee as follows. January 18, 2024 to February 26, 2025, general fund total, $274,781.90. School lunch fund, $63,635.43. Student activity fund, $19,232.13. 2014 shrinking fund, $31,870.04. Subtotal of $421,123.50. ACH wire transactions, payroll 130 to 214, $976,691.27. Edu staff $12,233.07. Health equity HSA $12,370.10. Credit card BMO $13,312.44. Health insurance $118,897.51. Arbiter pay 0. Pro care fees 0. Total funds spent $1,554,627.89. Checks numbering 45,434 to 45,575 with no voided checks.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Please make sure that you take a minute to acknowledge the Orchard Primary, Middle School, High School, and Athletic Student Activity Account Report. And now we'll go to new business with Mrs. Von Heltmeyer for Superintendent's report.
Okay, I'm going to start with the principal's report, starting with the high school, Mr. Spear's report. Again, as Hannah mentioned from student council, snow coming took place on February 8th. Had a great, wonderful pep assembly, and the night of celebration on February 7th, the 8th through 12th grade students got together the evening of the 8th for fun and festivities. Again, a shout out to the 8th grade to participate in the Almont High School event. The class continues to prove that they're respectful and they can handle the responsibilities of being at Almont High. Definitely appreciate the efforts of our community and staff volunteers, student council, and Ms. Wright for all of their efforts to continue to make these student celebrations not only possible, but also an amazing Almont experience. A shout out to our 11th grade student, Josiah Clark. He is the first Almont wrestler in 4 years to be put forward for regionals. His impressive 5-1 showing at the BWAC Wrestling Championship on February 1st earned him a 3rd place. Second quarter town halls took place at Almont High School through the end of January and beginning of February. Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Spear talked about student behaviors, grades, student nominated staff awards, and discussed new initiatives such as occasional open gym during lunch. The meetings went really well, and it's always a great opportunity to share information and engage in dialogue with the students. Congratulations to all the band members that participated in the MSBOA District 3 High School Solo and Ensemble. We have 19 solos, duets, trios, and quartets, with 7 of them receiving a First Division superior rating, which qualifies them to participate in state solo and ensemble, and 9 of the events obtained Second Division excellent ratings. So great job. And thank you, Mr. Wetzel. Congratulations to you as well. From the middle school held the winter rock raffles to celebrate students who have been exhibiting character strengths, P2 character strengths, and upholding rock expectations. 58 Almont Middle School students won prizes. Some of the prizes included lunch with the principal, VIP seating at the spring assembly, first in line for the spring rock shop, and attendance to the March Madness watch parties. The Junior Brick Raiders Robotics Club presented to the 4th graders on their processes to design, build, and program small robots using Lego kits to compete in challenges focusing on teamwork, problem solving, and STEM skills. We are also proud to announce there will be an after-school robotics club coming to AMS very soon. Interested students and their families will be receiving additional information in the coming weeks. So we're excited about that. And thank you, Caitlin Smith, if you're listening out there, for affording this opportunity to our students. NWA map growth testing is complete. In the next couple weeks, the teachers will dive into data, using it to track student growth and to tailor instruction and interventions to best support each student's individual needs. Orchard Primary, again, thank you, Mr. Bruno, for being here and providing that update on STEAM. We appreciate it. Other great things happening at Orchard Primary. Again, OP's mid-year testing is wrapping up. Students at OP did a fantastic job of giving their best effort and showing how much they've learned this year. Kudos to our teachers and staff for their hard work preparing students for the growth. Also, OP had winter data days all around the snow days. This allowed us to reorganize the WIN groups to get our Title I students the support they need to be successful. A huge thank you to our teachers and literacy coach, Jeannie Schulte, for their hard work on this event. Shout out to the PTA for their wonderful chocolate fountain party for students who participate in the fall fundraiser. Appreciate that. Also, OP is looking forward to starting March's Reading Month in a few days, celebrating the love of reading. And also, OP celebrated the 100th day of school on February 20th. So thank you. A few things from my report specifically. I will just do a couple shout outs here. We have the Lions Club, the eyeglasses. We're trying to collect old or used eyeglasses to help support our local Lions Club throughout the month of February. Please consider donating your eyeglasses if you have an extra pair that's not being used. You may drop them off in the main office at OP, middle school or high school. And thank you so much for your support. I did right before the meeting here, Mr. Zimmerman shared some good news, our athletic director. Very exciting for our boys bowling team. They won the regionals this past Friday, and 7 of our top bowlers will be proceeding to state competition in Jackson, Michigan this Friday. So good luck to everybody, and congratulations to Coach Willis too for getting this far. As shared at the February 19th work session, we have some exciting news. Almont Community Schools has secured additional 31AA funding for the 24-25 school year. As a reminder, the 31AA grant in Michigan provides funding to school districts to support students' academic growth and well-being through evidence-based programs and interventions. It focuses on addressing learning loss, improving literacy and math proficiency, and expanding student support services, particularly those who are at risk. Schools can use the funds for initiatives such as tutoring, mental health services, and extended learning opportunities to enhance student success. The 31AA grant has allowed the district to hire Mr. Shiflett. He is our K-12 Director of Student Success. Mr. Shiflett presented at the work session and shared how his role allows him to make a positive impact on student efforts, motivation, and achievement. I'll continue to work with our Administrator of Finance, Mrs. Muirfield, down the way here, to solidify our budgetary numbers to present to the Board of Education at our next work session, so we may post for positions as soon as possible. Thank you.
Bring us to finance.
Okay. Per policy 6320, the Board of Education must approve purchases over $28,048. A request for proposal process was filed and 3 bids were submitted. IDN, $71,314. LaForce, $78,502.15. Midwest Commercial Construction, $81,798. Midwest Commercial Construction is a local company and has done work with Almont Community Schools previously. Thus, the recommendation is to award the bid to Midwest Commercial Construction.
Mrs. Smith,
Ms. Frye.
I move the Board of Education approves the select door replacement at AHS and AMS and award the bid to Midwest Commercial Construction.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the budget. The Board of Education adopts the operating budgets for the school district. Adjustments in the budget are to be presented to the board for approval. The board must adopt a budget which complies with Michigan law. The Board of Education adopted a preliminary budget in June 2024 for the 2024-2025 school year. Adjustments to the budget are necessary as events occur throughout the school year which alter both revenue and expenditure budget categories. In the revenue area, we show an overall decrease of $308,918. In the expenditure area, we have an increase of $91,605. The revision was reviewed with members of the Finance Committee. General fund revenues are now projected to be $17,674,526. General fund expenditures are now projected to be $18,409,511, leaving expenditures exceeding revenues by $734,985. The general fund balance at the end of the year is expected to be $1,919,847. You have your documents, attachments for specifics.
Mrs. Smith?
Ms. Brad?
I move the Board of Education adopt the amended general fund budget for the 2024-2025 school year with revenues totaling $17,674,526 and expenditures totaling $18,409,511. Copy of adjustments, remarks, X, B, in the B1 and attached to the official minutes.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
The Board of Education may agree to a resignation, retirement any time after replacement suitable to the school administration and the board is obtained, provided that the circumstances underlying the resignation, retirement are valid in the opinion of the board and warrant a search for replacement. Luke Forty, special education paraprofessional, has resigned from his position. He was offered a position teaching in another district. Discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotarius?
I move the Board of Education accepts the resignation of Luke Forty and wish him well in the future.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on to new hires, the Board of Education approves all personnel with the creation of the new role of attendance secretary at Almont High School. Mr. Spear is recommending Mrs. Jessica Geiger for the position. Mrs. Geiger is currently a paraprofessional at Orchard Primary and is excited to join the staff at Almont High School. Mr. Spear is also happy to be recommending Miss Alexia Diaz for the position of paraprofessional. Ms. Diaz comes to us with classroom experience and will be a welcome addition to our special education room. Discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotarius?
I move the Board of Education approves Jessica Geiger and Alexia Diaz for their new roles at Almont High School.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? I have something, Ms. Vaughn, so, with Ms. Geiger leaving the OP, we're posting for that role then, is that right?
For the Orchard Primary, I believe there's a thumbs up there. Yes, yeah, that is
Want to make sure.
that is the
We are
goal.
very close to having a person in place for that. Just well, the next meeting, I'll have a recommendation.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Next up, the district calendar. The Board of Education can, if it chooses, approve the district calendar. Attached is the proposed 2025-2026 district calendar. This calendar is similar to previous calendars and has been discussed and approved by the AEA. The calendar includes an August 25th start and follows the ISD holiday calendar. It also meets all required hours and days mandated by the state, discussed and recommended by committee 3-0.
Mrs. Smith?
Mrs. Rotarius?
I move the Board of Education adopt the attached 2025 through 2026 school year calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This will bring us to our second opportunity for questions and comments from the audience. If you would like to be recognized, please go to the podium and state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes. Would anybody in the audience like to be recognized at this time? Questions and comments from the Board of Education? Okay. Any future agenda items for the board?
Mrs. Smith?
Mr. Burrow?
I move the Board of Education adjourn the February 24th, 2026 regular meeting at 6:59 PM.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.